It's here. It's finally here. New bike day. Woohoo! Yes. Regular viewers of this channel will know that I've been waiting for this particular bike for quite a few weeks now. There was a bit of a mix up in the post. It was going to come up north, didn't come in time. Now I'm in the south. It's turned up. This is the 110 SL, or 110 if you're Italian. I'm very lucky to be able to test this bike for the next few weeks, but without any further delay, let's get outside and ride it. Oh, it's raining though. Lovely day for a bike review. Just gonna do a few laps of the park. Louise is here helping me. What do you think of it?
It's nice.
It's red.
No, it's red. It's too red.
I was going to wait for a dry day to do this review, but there isn't one for the next 2 weeks. We'll have to make do with this. It's windy though, that's good. It's an aero bike. Testing it to its limits. So I think the rain's going to hold off long enough that I can give you a rundown of this bike. Now I have made some changes to it, so it's not a stock model. As it is right here, it's probably around £6,000, but there are cheaper options available. I'm going to put all the details in the link down below. Okay, that lasted about 30 seconds before it chucked it down, so I'm back at home. But I did manage to get a few shots of the bike, so here's a rundown. The frame is very similar to the 110 Pro, the bike I was riding last year, my red one, which has been Wilier's top-end Aero offering for a while now. They've made a few small tweaks to it, used a less expensive carbon layup to make it more affordable, but the geometry and the shaping of the frame is pretty much the same. Tyre clearance is really good considering it's an Aero frame, 28mm for rim brake and 30mm for disc brake. I've switched out the stock tyres to Hutchinson Fusion 5s. These are the all-season version. It's what I've got on my other bike at the moment, and I wanted this test to be scientifical. Inside the tyre I've got standard road tubolitos for the same reason stated above, and they ride really nicely. I also can't be arsed with tubeless. These are Wilier's own carbon wheels, a slightly shallower version than I have on my other bike. They're made in collaboration with Mish, which is actually pronounced Mika. This is the disc brake version of the bike, Ultegra group set with a 160 rotor on the front, 140 rotor on the rear. I haven't actually had a chance to try out a bike with two 160 rotors on, but I'm assuming it's not an essential thing if you're a lighter rider like me. Perhaps if you're doing longer mountain descents and there's a risk of overheating, I assume the bigger surface area of the disc would allow it to cool off more quickly. The seat post is Wilier's in conjunction with Ritchie. Fitted to that, I've got a Cell Italia boost saddle. This is the carbon rail top-end version. That's definitely saved me a few grams, but certainly added a few pounds to the price as well. Now this is probably the biggest noticeable difference when riding it. The top end 110 Pro usually comes with an alabarda fitted, which is Wilier's integrated bar and stem, which is one piece. This one's come with a Wilier bar and stemmer, which is two separate pieces, easier for adjustability, but slightly heavier and less aerodynamic. As lovely and clean as the alabarda is, it's easier to recommend the bar and stem just down to adjustability. You really need to make sure you get the sizing of the alabarda right in the first place before you spend all the money on it, because it's an expensive bit of kit. It's then finished off with Ultegra Di2 shifters, wired nicely through the handlebars, all integrated with a junction box on the end of the bar. It looks really clean. You can barely see any cables or wires. The braking hoses are the most obvious ones, which creates a really nice, clean build. In size medium, the frame weighs 1,190 grams. This is their pure aero bike. They do, however, claim that this model is actually stiffer than the top-end older Pro model, which I was riding. I can confirm after my short ride that the bike does feel fantastic. Being like 65 kilos, I'm probably not gonna flex many carbon frames anyway, but it certainly didn't feel too stiff in terms of ride quality. Looking at all of the models on the Wilier website, they do actually come in massively affordable in the rim brake version, starting at £2,450, ranging right up to the top end disc version, which is at £5,540. This one's just a bit more because I've put some fancy parts on it. Right, that is the end of the first look at that bike. I'm going to be riding it for the next few weeks. I'll do a bit of a longer term review. Hopefully I'll be able to ride it in the drier bit because, well, today's write-off. Why am I moaning? It's just a bit of weather. I'm going to go and find Daisy and get some food. Last bit of today's video, I wanted to test out this little Sony camera, my point and shoot, in some low light conditions. And we've had low light pretty much all day. We're just going out to get some dinner because I need to replenish the calories from that monster ride that I did with Louise. It must be really hot.
Really hot? No, it's cold and it's rainy outside.
Dinner! Someone was asking in the comments what happened to Levi Blue. What did happen, Levi? Where have you been? YouTube needs you back. I was chatting to him and I was telling him about this little camera, this point and shoot. So hopefully I've convinced him Did I convince you, Levi? Actually, only come back if you've learned how to do a fish and chips. It's kind of weird halfway situation with the lockdown here in the UK at the moment. When you go into a pub or a restaurant, you don't have to wear a mask as long as you're sitting down, like eating or drinking, but it just creates a really weird dynamic, doesn't it? And the staff are like, oh, I'm not quite sure if I should wear a mask or not.
What irritates me is that people think that as soon as you sit down you're allowed to take your mask off, and actually that is not the rule. The rule is that you're only allowed to take it off if you are drinking. So if you finished your drink or your food, technically you should put a mask back on. That's what the law is. But I don't go around Giro telling people to put their mask back on because they've had enough hissy fits trying to put it on in the first place. I don't mean to like make it really negative, but if you have an issue with the mask rule, don't take it out on hospitality staff. If you have a problem with it, go talk to Bojo. But don't take it out on staff. It's just not fair.
Your word.